It's a tremendous pleasure to have you guys here, to take half a day out of your busy Monday to come and visit us. I'm really appreciative of it. So as we're putting the agenda together for you, probably a couple of months ago, I was trying to think through what exactly I want to share with you guys. And three things came to mind. Actually, four. Three I'm going to show you, and one I'm going to talk to you about, right? So the key areas I wanted you to have as a takeaway from today were, number one, understand Google's vision for enterprise search. We've flown a guy in especially from the US to do that, Krish Kumar, who has the job for the global, he's the global manager for enterprise search, and he holds the vision really for enterprise search. Then I also wanted you to be able to see our solutions in action. So we're going to show you some live demos, as you'd expect from Google. And we're going to really push the boat out on that. It's called Art of the Possible, and show you some great live demos. But it's also clearly really important to hear from customers, right? So we've got 4 customers in the room, actually sitting in the front row here, who've kindly joined us and tell you a bit about their experience of implementing and using Google Enterprise Search. And the fourth thing, and you'll see this throughout the morning, you've come to Google offices, you've seen our environment, we have a lot of fun here at Google. So we've got some great surprises for you throughout the morning to have a lot of fun as well. So I hope you participate in that as well. So just formally take you through the agenda. Once I finish my welcome, I'll introduce Krish Kumar, as I said, Global Head for Enterprise Search, based out in a Mountain View office. We'll take you through the vision for enterprise search. Now we've got 2 customers. We've got Charles Stanley, who are a brokerage firm. We've got Arm, an amazing British success story, who are going to tell us how they've implemented Google Enterprise Search. Then we've got what we call Art of the Possible. So this is demonstrations, live demonstrations of how our products work, solutions we've built internally, and solutions that we've built for customers as well. We're going to have a short break after that, and we've got a great interactive online quiz for you, and some prizes as well. So I hope you'll participate in that. We've got 2 more customer speakers. We've got Lloyds Banking Group, and we've also got Hayes Recruitment, who've kindly come in, and we're going to tell us about their stories of implementing Google Search. Lloyds Bank, I haven't gone live yet, so just about to go live, and so we'll hear about all the projects about that have taken them to the stage where they're just about to go live in a week or so. And Hayes have actually been one of our longest standing customers, so it'll be actually very interesting to hear of how they've used it through the years. And then I'm very excited to say we've got a keynote speaker for you as well. And when we're trying to think of a keynote speaker, we're trying to think, well, who can we have? Google's all about spreading information, making information easily accessible. And we've got a gentleman called Trevor Bayliss, who, if you haven't heard of that name, you might have heard of one of his inventions, right? Anybody know what he did?
Wind-up radio.
Wind-up radio, exactly, right? So we got the inventor of the wind-up radio to come and talk to us about innovation and invention, right? So we're very excited about that as well. And really, I consider him to be googly even before Google existed, right? Okay, so let me give you a bit of an idea of where Google search comes from and how we got to where we are. For us, search is not really just a feature of one of our products, right? It's an absolute focus for us, right? We have over 20,000 engineers in Google dedicated to search. We've got the largest team of linguists that understand language and make search easy for you guys to use, right? And while we're creating all this, Google launched in about 1997, and while we're creating this amazing search algorithm, one of the very first products that Google decided to monetize, sell to customers, was Google Search. So how to give customers access to the Google algorithm to run either on your websites or to run for your internal knowledge systems, right? Your intranets, your document management systems. And so we've got a product called Google Enterprise Search that allows you to do that. And that's the focus, obviously, of this morning itself. And the reason why this become more and more important in the last few years is because the expectations for your customers, expectations for your employees has grown so greatly over the last few years, purely because of the experience they have in the home world. Right? When you go to Google, you look for a restaurant, you look for a hotel, you look for holiday research, and customers often come to us and say, well, it's so incredibly easy to look through what Google indexes in trillions of URLs that Google indexes, but it's incredibly difficult to do it for our internal systems. Or when customers come to our websites, they complain that they can't find information very easily on our own websites. You guys, any of you guys relate to that? So that's why we created Google Enterprise Search, to give access to those kind of algorithms to your organizations. And we do a lot of research around this as well, and we buy a lot of research in. And we know that on average, for knowledge workers in an organization, about 25% of their time is spent purely looking for information within organizations. And for about half of that time, for about 50% of the people who are searching for this information, I should say, they're looking through 5 different information repositories on average, right? So it might be looking through a file system, looking through email, looking through SharePoint, looking through document management. You're looking through multiple resources, right? And what we provide is a great way of unifying all that information into a nice and easy-to-use Google Enterprise Search. And we also know, for the knowledge workers who are looking for this information, about 38% of their time is actually spent unsuccessfully looking for this information. So when you're looking for that PowerPoint or you're looking for that Excel spreadsheet, sometimes you can't find it. In the worst cases, you reinvent the wheel. Yeah, you write that document again, or sometimes you don't find the right version, right? And so about 38% of the time, according to IDC, you're actually unsuccessfully looking for this information. These are the key problems that we're looking to resolve, right? And so what I want to actually show you is that Google actually has got a tremendous track record in this. At the moment, we get about 100 billion search queries a month, right? And what percentage of those search queries would you guess that we've never seen before? About 15%. Every single day, about 15% of our search queries that come through, we've never seen before. And why am I telling you that? Because so people on average, by the way, type in 1.6 words into Google, right, when they start using Google. So when people type in those 1.6 words into Google, you truly believe that Google has somehow understood exactly what you mean and given you the perfectly curated search result, hopefully on the first page. We hate it, by the way, when you have to go to the second page. That's a disaster for us, right? And that becomes really important, and that's a good example of how we understand language and how we understand how people search. And every time people put in those 1.6 words, we look at 200 different signals, actually more than 200 different signals. Just basic things like how it's spelled, what stem of that word they might be using, which part of the world they're in, what the weather might be, whether it's summer or winter. 200 different things we look at before we give you your answer. And you might think when you're using Google, when you go to google.com, it's kind of staying, it all looks the same when you use it through the year, but in the background it's changing over 500 times a year. Right? So on average, obviously, changing more than once a day in the background. We're tweaking it all the time to make it great for you. All those learnings on google.com become available to the search products we sell for your companies as well, the Google Enterprise Search proposition. This is what it looks like. It looks like a piece of Swiss cheese. It's only available in yellow, but we've created a piece of hardware. And that piece of hardware is specifically there to run the Google search algorithms very, very effectively. Okay, it's a finely tuned piece of hardware to give that. And all the Google algorithm is basically in there. And effectively, it's what we call search in a box. Once you get one of these, you put it in your organizations, it can start indexing information on your websites, on your internal systems, and have a nice Google-like search experience very, very quickly. And in the UK, we've had tremendous success with this solution, right? If you just think about the FTSE 100, we've got companies like British Telecom, British Airways, British Petroleum, Vodafone, Reuters, Bloomberg, lots of large organizations, but lots of small organizations as well. Over the last 10 years that the solution's been available, we've got more than 35,000 customers across the world using Google Enterprise Search incredibly successfully. So, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about innovation in the last couple of minutes of my presentation. You know, Google, we love to push boundaries, and we have got a concept called moonshot thinking at Google. What do I mean by moonshot thinking? When we're trying to innovate, we don't try and make things 1 or 2 times better. We try and think of making things 10 times better. And when you try and make something 10 times better, you truly have to think about a different way of solving a problem. Yeah, you probably have to create new materials. you probably have to create new teams and new ways of actually thinking about a problem in order to solve issues. I mean, this Felix Baumgartner, he's just the context here. He was this was the highest number of streams that YouTube ever had when he did this jump, right? And so we've got a whole, actually in Google, we've got a whole building dedicated to innovation. It's called Google X. I mean, my pass actually lets me into any Google building in the world, apart from this one building, right? Which has got 200 or 300 engineers in there. They're running a couple of hundred projects. You know, the self-driving car you may have heard of. We've got balloons. They're going to power up the power internet for remote areas in the world. And some of you guys may have heard of Google Glass, right? We've got Google Glass that's produced in there as well. So we've got a test version here. It's quite temperamental, but I'm going to have a quick go to see whether I can show you how it works. So I'll talk you through it, right? So this is Google Glass. It's very comfortable to wear. It's very, very light. It's got a battery pack at the back. It's got a computer here. It's got a camera at the front. It's actually got a second camera at the back as well that looks at you. And it's got a little prism here. And that prism basically projects a little image, a very, very high resolution image, which shows you basically all the information. I'm going to try and show you how this works. So in order to do it, if you can just switch across to the Wolf version, please. Let me just put this on. And so it's very simple. I can use a menu system. So let me just log in here. So this basically shows you what I see in my eyes. Okay, let me just see if I can get this here. So this is what I'm seeing right now. So if I say, OK, Glass, take a picture. Smile, everyone. There you go. Not very clear. Maybe I should have done it a bit. So if I do that, and then do that, there you guys are. I need to cut the screen a bit brighter. So you remember I told you it's got a camera looking back at me as well? So if I didn't want to speak, I can just wink at it and it'll take a picture. Should we try that? OK, let's give this a go, shall we? So let me just close that. So that's what I'm looking at. So let me just close that. OK, ready for this? There you go. I'm going to try one last thing. Just picture this. So this didn't work actually just in my rehearsal, but I'll give it a go now. Anybody speak Spanish in the room? Anybody tell me what this is? Perfect. So imagine I'm in a foreign country, right? And I'm driving around, maybe there's road signs there, I'm in a restaurant, and I don't understand the menu, right? Wouldn't it be fantastic if I had some sort of eyepiece that I can just point to, and it translated for me, right? Should we try that? Let's give it a go, shall we? This is a bit temperamental, I warn you guys, but I'm certainly happy to give it a go. OK, so that's what I'm saying. OK, Glass. Translate this. Just give me a second, guys. Got it? Hey!